All right. So if you're watching on Facebook, if you're watching on Facebook, you can go to the Bible Thumping Wingnut Podcast Network YouTube channel. You can listen live on Mixler.com. This is Len, co-host of the Bible Thumping Wingnut Show, and I am doing a solo rogue episode. I'm live on Mixler, Facebook, and YouTube. And tonight, we're covering the election. Woo! So, an interesting night to say the least. It looks like Trump is going to win the election. I wish I could say that I was super surprised. I have a lot to say on this, actually. And I'm not going to be on Facebook Live for very long, you guys. So the many of you who are starting to jump on, please go over to youtube.com. Because I'm on my own here, I'm really not able to share the link in the group. So if you're listening on Mixler, or if someone is already, I see we have 10 viewers on YouTube right now, please go share this link on the BibleThumpingWingnut.com Facebook group, and I would appreciate that. So, what's happening? What insanity? Did you vote? Did you perform your civic duty today? I'm gonna go off Facebook right now. So all you who are watching on Facebook, come on over to YouTube, check it out. So I voted today, and I've made it no secret that I would not be participating with the election of the POTUS. I did a write-in candidate who didn't even know he was running. His name is Tim Hurd. He was in the running in Wisconsin. But yeah, poor campaign strategy on his part cost him the election. So, but I believed in him, so I had to vote my conscience, and so I did. And now we are going to turn on election coverage from CNN.
Actually back during the primaries when I
and in fact, let me go over here and screen share
he
here.
To joke around with the reporters who covered him, and he had just taken off his glasses, which in our
and
was
we'll
a really
get
big deal
CNN.com up here.
And he made a joke and called me by a colleague's name, and I was like, "Oh, I thought he knew my name by now." And then he's like, "No, it's
now
a
here's
joke.
why I like to cover CNN, you guys.
Like, oh, okay, funny.
I like to cover CNN because these people
he's like, "Candace,
are
I just want you to know, I know who you are,
sycophants.
wherever you are." And
these people are sold out for Hillary Clinton.
Yeah. So that
and they all expected her by now to be giving her acceptance speech, I'm sure. Now that could still happen, mathematically speaking. Okay, there's a commercial on now, so we will we'll stop that screen share. So there is no doubt whatsoever that these people were hoping by now that Hillary would be giving her acceptance speech, and that she would be announced as the new president of the United States, and we would all be so excited. Well, I can tell you that they are disappointed. They are disappointed, as well as every gun shop in America. Let's face it, the price of AR-15s is going to go down now because your gun rights are safe, right? Every 4 years, man, the gun manufacturers, the gun stores love an election, man. They love an election. So if you were, there was a gun show in town here, actually. I went and bought a holster for myself as a little anniversary present, and the gun show was packed. There were people buying all kinds of accessories for their AR-15s, buying their pistols, buying up ammo, because you know, the fear-mongering of the loss of gun rights causes people to run and get it while you can. You don't know they're going to take away gun rights. Well, they always talk about it, but it never happens. Gun rights in this country, or gun ownership, has never been easier in this country, probably at least in the last 50 years or so. So it's really easy to get a gun, and now it's pretty easy to carry. You pay $100, you sit in a half a day class, and you go to the range and pop a few rounds out the barrel, and you can carry that popper anywhere on your person. There's a lot I want to talk about tonight. One of the things that I really want to talk about, and I'm going to turn up, we're going to kind of have this in the background periodically, because I just want to see if Trump or Hillary start to give an acceptance or concession speech. I want to listen to it. Ron Johnson won re-election in Wisconsin. That's kind of a big thing. That was just announced. Hopefully Sean Duffy wins. Sean Duffy is our local congressman. His office is literally 4 blocks from my house. I shook his hand once at a fair. Good guy, Christian man, like 8 children, I think. But yeah, so who are the losers in tonight's election? Well, Hillary Clinton obviously is the loser if she should indeed go on to lose. I would say that the gun stores, gun dealers, they are the losers with Hillary losing the election, because, you know, they're going to have a fire sale for all the ARs that they brought in stock. Now might be like Black Friday sales for guns might be insane. Might be, you know, although they shouldn't be, because if you follow my YouTube channel, Bullets and BJJ, or BJJ and Bullets, I made a video about, in the first debate, Trump and Hillary basically agree on gun control policy, but, the sycophants in the GOP, they think that the platform would never allow for such a thing. So let's see what's going on in Mixler chat here. We got Justin Gardner and a few other people in there. I have a question, too, but I cannot call in right now. Is evangelical a general term that includes? Wow, that's like way behind. Hold on a second. So, kind of general consensus in chat that the election is nuts, and yeah, it is. So, big losers. Big losers tonight are Hillary Clinton, gun shop owners, gun dealers, and the mainstream media. I don't know about you, but I get almost none of my news through any major media outlet. Certainly not the big 3, ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox News, the media industrial complex. I gave up on that a couple of years ago. CNN, MSNBC, they're all dead. They're all tanking. I mean, look, I was looking at the Alex Jones has like a 52-hour election coverage special where he's going to be on live streaming for like 52 straight hours. So maybe we'll go to that. And it's interesting. He had 48,000 people watching him live on YouTube. That's insane to me. Who else did I see streaming live? Steven Crowder was streaming live. Look, people are going to the internet. Hey, Justin, I see you in chat. But yeah, here's the thing. Like, Trump did an outstanding job of using the medium of social media. Much to his advantage. Look, when we go back in time, go back to, for example, oh my goodness. In the early days of radio, presidents would have fireside chats and talk about a pseudo State of the Union, or talk about whatever the topic of the day was. Then you go to television, right? JFK debated Richard Nixon, and it was decided by the people who listened on the radio that Nixon was the clear winner. But the people who watched on television thought that JFK was the clear winner for really basically no other than looks and stylistic reasons. Fast forward to Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan used television like a genius. He was constantly broadcasting from the Oval Office. He was always in front of the television. Always, he was always in front of the American people, and that's why he was so beloved, even among like the Dixiecrats, Southern Democrats and everything loved him because he was in your living room with you all the time. And now that medium is dying. Television is dying. Netflix, Hulu, Amazon TV, Apple TV, all of these mediums, they're all putting up their own content, and like network television is dying a slow, painful death and going the way of the dinosaur. And people are going to social media for their news. Why? Because, like, for example, there's all these like riots and protests happening in places like Venezuela, for example, that nobody in the mainstream media is covering, but it's live streaming on Twitter and Facebook, and millions of people are watching it. It's getting shared everywhere. That's how people are keeping in touch. That's how people are staying informed. And by the way, I'm a big fan of that because, look, it's regardless of what political views are online, nobody's bought and sold on Twitter, right? So it's as reliable, in fact, far more reliable, at least in the eyes of the American public, than any of the major news outlets. So the mainstream media is dead. It is dead. Let's pop in and see what the mainstream media is saying, as a matter of fact, here.
I wish I had an answer for that. I think there's going to be a lot of soul searching afterwards. I mean, the whole Brexit analogy is something that we were very dismissive, I think, here in the United States, that we would see the same type of hidden vote that we saw in England when Brexit was passed. And it's not anything against either candidate. It was more of a belief that our modeling procedures here were stronger and more accurate. And look, right now it's still a jump ball for the race. But
okay, so here's an interesting example. Here we have 6,000 people watching the live CNN coverage. All right, now this is another channel. Okay, so this, in fairness, this isn't CNN Live. So let's go to CNN's actual channel here. Sky News has 61,000 people watching. The Fox stream has 10,000. Let's see here. Let me see if I can get in on the CNN live stream here.
M&M's milk chocolate melts.
So CNN has about 1 million people watching right now.
Keep the weight off.
Let's see what else is going on out here in La La Land. All right, I want to show you this. Let's see. Let's look at Joe Rogan. The Joe Rogan Experience right now has 30,613 people watching it. NBC News has 884,000 people. Think of that. That's a huge little chunk. Joe Rogan has about, I don't know what percentage that is, maybe 3-5%. But look, that's people who are not watching. That's people who are not watching the election coverage on NBC News. And who's watching? Who's like watching the Joe Rogan Experience, right? These are like your kind of dyed in the wool. So okay, just broke on CNN that Donald Trump won Iowa. And we'll look at the electoral map here in a minute, folks. Well, let's look at Alex Jones. Alex Jones, his live stream right now. Okay, let's go to his actual channel, because look, all of these people are live streaming his live stream. Basically, they're doing what I'm doing. They are screen sharing and putting his audio feed through a mixer. So you have 28,000 on his own channel watching right now live. Okay, let's see what Alex Jones has to say. He might be pretty animated. This could be entertaining.
The operation in Raqqa includes.
Oh, let me just shut down the. Let me shut down the volume on CNN there.
Well, I want to add one more to the winner, and that is social media.
Yeah.
because this has really been
Twitter. Look at
fight.
Twitter.
Oh,
Okay,
man,
70,000
Twitter,
people right
and
now.
it's been a huge.
Look at
fight,
this, 70,061 people. What are they talking
Trump
about?
versus
The
Hillary
social
Clinton and the
media impact.
establishment media, and we win. The republic has been saved.
Darren, he
And
walked into hell.
Matt Drudge,
I mean,
Assange, WikiLeaks, big winners. Yes.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Margaret.
literally, the man walked into hell. All bets were off. And we were even in the office a few hours ago. We were all, you could feel this somber tension. It was just like we were preparing ourselves. Well, Owen had, you know, Owen's like, never. But there was a quiet
I remember
mood.
being on air.
Okay,
this
so they're
morning
talking
at
about
4
like the
a.m.
establishment media and the death of the establishment media, which I completely agree with, and social look, there's no doubt the impact that the WikiLeaks and Julian Assange and all these people had, because
I still felt like today was the
at the end of the day, if you're a Democrat, do you really want your party represented by a criminal?
We got some breaking news from RT. This is kind of funny. Canada immigration website.
It's down.
crashes
It's down.
amid strong
Yeah.
Trump lead.
It's
And you know what
down.
that is? That's not Hollywood. That's the Clinton Foundation staff trying to get out before they get indicted.
Exactly what's happening.
Oh dear. So these are sycophants too. I mean, let's face it here. Now let's look at an electoral map here. This is the this is Real Clear Politics. I find this to be, and look, for those of you who don't know, before I was a Christian, I was all about this stuff. On an election night, I would be up until like 3, 4 in the morning watching coverage. And so there's still part of me that's very drawn to it, but there's part of me that really hates the idolatry of it. So let's expand the electoral map here and see what the lead actually looks like. Right now, Trump is at 255 and Clinton is at 209. Of course, that magic number of 270 is what we need to hit, right? So, state still up for grabs: Pennsylvania, Michigan, Minnesota, key battleground states. Pennsylvania, huge. Michigan, huge. Look, Wisconsin went red. That's crazy to me. Living in Wisconsin, look, we call Madison Moscow West, okay? That's where all your intensely hardcore socialists live. Like, Wisconsin is really not a conservative state at all. Very progressive. UW Eau Claire, a little Wisconsin extension, an extension of the UW, was voted like one of the most gay-friendly campuses in the world. Okay, so so here we go. We got Wisconsin that went red. We're still waiting on Nevada. Looks like I think that's Arizona down there. I think New Mexico's already in. I'm not great with my geography, but I'm pretty sure that's Arizona. And looks like we still have Maine. That's probably, well, here, let's just take a look down at what's up for grabs. Okay, so Arizona right now with 65% reporting. Trump is at 49.4%. Clinton is at 45.7%. Now, on its face, it seems like Clinton has a chance. She's only like, 3.5 percentage points behind. But that's a mountain. When you're like at 2.5 points with 65% reporting, unless there's a major metropolitan area left to report, which at this stage in the game, there probably isn't. There probably isn't. The Phoenix, Tempe, those are probably reporting already. Maine, let's see here. Maine looks like it's going to go, well, that really looks like a toss-up to me. New Hampshire, dead heat. Trump has a very, very narrow margin here of less than 1 percentage point here with 78% reporting, but they're probably going to call that. Looks like Hillary is going to get Nevada. Let's see here. Well, let me close this little pop-up ad here. So, well, let's see. Where's Pennsylvania? Pennsylvania is huge, and it is dead locked, you guys. 48.2% tied. Johnson, the third-party candidate, got 2.4% with 96% reporting. So you can expect lawyers to get involved in that. So with that, let's see, because Pennsylvania is 20 electoral votes. Okay, there are 20 electoral votes for Pennsylvania. You better believe that by morning, chances are we are not going to know exactly who the president is. The media will try to call it one way or the other, but chances are it will not be called tonight. So, yeah, I don't know if a Trump presidency is something to celebrate. I know that not having Hillary as president, we might say, is something to celebrate, but I don't know that we can say that a Trump victory is a win for America. Just because Hillary was staved off, all right? Instead of, look, here's the deal. We're not going over a cliff, okay? If Hillary had gotten in office, we're going over a cliff. We're in big trouble. But Trump is like being in like a logging truck going down a mountain without brakes. You know, we're still gonna die, people. It's the bottom line. We're still gonna die. So, not to be that's not very dat post mill of me. I recognize that. But okay, so let's take a look. I got an article here from the New York Times. Their electoral map is showing that they're tentatively calling Pennsylvania for Trump. They're tentatively calling Nevada and Minnesota for Clinton, Maine for Clinton, no surprise there, and Arizona for Trump. I mean, they're not calling it, but right now they have it at 238 to 209. And thank you, John Wilkinson, for sending that to me via text message, so I'm able to look at that. All right. So hey, have you guys shared this yet? Has anyone shared this on the Wingnut wall? If you haven't, please do so. Please go share this link. It would be kind of cool if you did. Let's talk about social media, guys. I have to. I can't help myself here. And I'm probably going to have people upset with me, and I don't want that, but let's be real here. Okay. Here's my ballad, by the way. I wrote in Tim Hurd for president. Oh, you threw away your vote. Here, so I said here, every vote counts, and there's a picture of my ballad. I broke the law there, I suppose, doing that. So let's see what people had to say about that. Jonathan said that vote should have gone to Rocky Roque de la Fuente. I don't know who that is. So Christopher Fales, our friend over at Conversations from the Porch, said, except for that one, LOL. I said, everyone counts, not mine, though. It did count. Tim Hurd got a vote. It's not my fault. He ran a terrible race. Didn't even try. Warren Gilmer said that one didn't. Michael, I'm sorry, I shouldn't say last names here, said Hillary thanks you, as does Tim. See, now this is that old canard that if you abstain, if you don't vote, then you're voting for Hillary. That's nonsense. Not voting is not voting. All right. So I'm sorry. I couldn't violate my conscience and vote for Trump. Sorry. Anyhow, so someone else called it wasted ink. Let's see here. Ed asks, he's talking about Anderson Cooper. Anderson Cooper asks a question, what did everyone get wrong? You all got Hillary wrong, the American people wrong, your heart and pride wrong, as if Hillary is a standard of we the people have our anchors in. Okay, so it's true. You know, these people, the mainstream media let Hillary steal the election from Bernie Sanders. Look, Bernie versus Trump probably wouldn't have been this close of a race. And but at the same time, Hillary's theft probably saved us from being a socialist country. I mean, more than we already are. So here's an electoral map on fire. This is great. That is classic. Oh man, how come I can't? Let's turn that up.
He'll get beyond this, but look, he doesn't owe the GOP establishment anything. And neither do the American people. They have lied to us repeatedly.
Now look, here's another example. Facebook Live. Whoever this LSD is, this network, this Facebook group has 62,400 people watching this. All right, so that speaks to the power of the unconventional media here, right? Let's see. If Trump takes Michigan, it's over. Yep, whoop-de-doo. Look, here's my question. Here is my question, and maybe I'll open up this room. Maybe we'll have a nice conversation. If anyone wants to come in here and join me for a conversation, send me a message on Facebook. I'll send you the link. We can hang out. We can discuss this, because I'm sure there's people here who disagree with me pretty strongly. But look, it seems like the best thing anyone has to say about Trump is that Hillary didn't get in. As if that's somehow meritorious. Like, oh, he stopped Hillary. Well, look. Yeah, I voted for the platform. I've heard that one before too. I'm voting for the platform. Okay. I think that there could be some real economic improvements under Trump. It's possible. He's a businessman. It's just whose business is he in there for? You know, I don't know. Here's the thing, guys. The reason why our government is set up the way it is, a representative republic, is so that we would have our peers governing us, right? That's why the electoral map is set up the way it is. That's why states and counties there's districting, so that you're actually represented by someone who's sort of like you, okay? Someone that's there who actually represents your interests, because they're from the same place as you. They know the common needs. And so by and large, you send somebody there who is, you know, this, and I'm saying that this was the intention. This was the intention of setting things up the way that our founders saw fit, is so that the person who was in there had people to answer to. So I want to run for alderman in my district in Wisconsin, and I have to go knock doors. I have to walk parades. I have to ask people for my vote. I have to ask people for their money to support my candidacy. And in that way, I become beholden to them. Okay? I answered to these people because they trusted me with their finances, and I have to be a good steward of that. Like back when America had a conscience, that's kind of the way it was set up. Do you really want somebody in there who answers to nobody? You know, Trump, yes, he raised money, no question. He had to raise money. He could not afford. No man really can afford to run a candidacy on his own money. Or her own money, as is the case of Mrs. Clinton. But do you really want someone in office who does not have accountability? It's a dangerous thing. It's a dangerous thing. That's, you know, it's the birth of fascism, man. And look, maybe you think Trump is going to end Obamacare. He's gonna wipe out Obamacare, and it's a failing system, and he's gonna do away with it. I'm sorry. Bureaucracy like that doesn't get smaller; it metastasizes. It does. It just always does. I mean, maybe you're not aware of this, but parking meters, parking meters were supposed to be a temporary thing to help pay for war. And that was the way it was sold to the American people, is we just need this for the war effort. We just need this as a temporary thing. So, we just need your penny and your nickel and your dime, you park, and we collect that money. And once the war is paid for, we're good. I don't know if there's a city in America that doesn't have parking meters, folks. So if something as small as parking meters don't go away in bureaucracy, what's going to happen with Obamacare? Okay. So, so let's go listen to some more coverage here and see what CNN is saying.
Should try to go to a commercial break really quick.
Of course.
Yep.
And take a break and come back in a few minutes and break down the rest of these states as they unfold.
Almost ready to make it official, folks. Almost ready.
Yep.
I'm ready.
I think once they finally tabulate Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, I think we'll know, because if Trump takes either one of those two, I think it's over.
Michigan, it's over, because Trump's only down by 16. Michigan is 16. So that puts us at the mark right there, dead even.
I mean, even if you give Clinton New Hampshire and Pennsylvania, I still think Trump has the path to victory with 285. And that's being conservative.
Well, we're waiting for the official announcement.
Right.
Let's understand that, he's won. We understand that.
They are chanting, lock her up right now at the Trump campaign. Lock her up being
Trump
chanted.
is not going to make an official announcement until the networks or the
let's go to Fox
services
News.
or whatever
Let's go see
will make that final call. But we can take a look at the statistics. We know how this is going down. And even they are projecting that's what's.
Okay, that was the InfoWars stream. I wondered, that isn't lining up at all. All right.
A lot of people laughed at the Trump campaign when they said our path to the presidency was the Rust Belt, thinking that 1988, even longer than that. They made a run in Minnesota. Minnesota's going to hold for the Democrats. But a lot of people laughed at them. A lot of people even think, with the dysfunction, as Dana noted earlier, the governor of Ohio not on your side. 52% of the vote.
He needed to win Ohio. He won Ohio.
52% of the vote. He won Ohio. Now we're gonna wait on these ones. We're gonna wait on this one, and we are in exactly the opposite position that we thought a couple of weeks ago we were going to be in. We thought at Trump campaign headquarters they would be sitting there trying to draw to an inside straight, trying to literally lightning striking. We're talking about Powerball odds. Donald Trump
drawing to an inside straight. That's an interesting. I used to play poker, so when he says you're drawing to an inside straight, that's a term in Texas Hold'em, where let's say you have the 10, the jack, the king, and the ace, and you have one card to come, and you need the queen, and there's 4 of them in the deck out of 52, and there's other players at the table who got cards. Your chances of getting that are pretty slim.
That's about the number they said they need. That they thought they needed
450,000 plus.
But what they're seeing is, and she's actually, the story of Pennsylvania is almost always turnout in Philadelphia and then the collar counties. But Hillary Clinton's not, percentage-wise, not doing that horribly. She's actually performing about right, if you will, for a Democratic model. But she is getting swamped out here in these rural counties, where you have not only Donald Trump winning these counties, but winning them. Some of them won by Obama. Some of them he's overperforming Romney, and substantially so, Wolf.
We have another major projection right now. CNN now projects that Hillary Clinton will carry the state of Nevada with its 6 electoral votes.
There.
Hillary Clinton wins in Nevada. 74% of the vote is in. She's got a 32,000 plus vote lead. She carries Nevada. Take a look at the count for the electoral college map right now. Trump has 238 votes. Hillary Clinton has 215. You need 270. We're still waiting on the Rust Belt to come in. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Look at how CNN is holding out. They will not call the Rust Belt. The Rust Belt is that kind of Midwest along the Great Lakes from Pennsylvania up to Minnesota. Very industrial and very union strong, very much a union stronghold. That's, I think, like Ohio. Usually if you win Ohio, you win the presidency. Let's see here. Let's see what other live streams we got going on. Let's see. Where is Fox News? Let me get Fox News. If Sean Hannity's got something brilliant to say, I kind of doubt it. I don't know how anyone listens to that guy. Honest to goodness. All right. Donald Trump election watch party. Oh, all right. We have a guest. Mr. Wilkinson, would you like to unmute your microphone?
Hello. Good evening.
Hello. Okay, hold on.
Can you hear me?
Let me turn you up a little bit here.
Okay.
Maybe
stick my mouth in the mic.
Okay, try now.
Hey, can you hear me?
Boy, you're real quiet.
I am. Oh, weird.
Yeah, I don't know why. Oh, that's why. My fault.
Aha.
Yep.
Better?
Yeah, better. It sounds like
good.
you're sounds like you must be watching some election coverage, huh?
That's all I've been doing the whole night.
You idolater.
No, it's actually, the funny thing is like I was thinking that Hillary was supposed to just do a complete wipe, just completely take over the whole election. And it's funny because if that was the case, I probably would have just threw my hands up in the air and say, we're doomed for another 4 years. And so, I figured, oh, well. But the fact that, all the polls were showing that Hillary was supposed to win. And then you look now, at the results of it, and it looks like, right now, Trump is at 244 and Hillary's at 215 at the moment. It just blew my mind. I was like, "Oh, this is really interesting. I just can't believe that this is actually working out to Trump's advantage." It just blew me away. All the polls, and it's funny because you brought up the whole thing about social media and just all the other coverages, and they're all pointing to Hillary.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden now it's like now they're changing their tune. And they're saying, well, it looks like, it was Trump all along. And it's like, it's crazy. It was just a really crazy night tonight. I really did not expect this. So.
Yeah. I didn't expect it either, to be honest with you. I kind of expected a Clinton landslide. But I figured if he did win, it would be by a real narrow margin. The thing is that I think people just in general are sick and tired of the establishment, man. They're sick and tired of
totally agree. Yeah.
Career politicians. And look, Trump is like the anti-politician, right? I mean, no, I don't know, man. It's there's a danger with going after someone as unknown, but looks like that's what we're going to see. I feel like, that meme with Michael Jackson with the big bucket of popcorn, that's how
yes, I saw that meme already today. Yeah, it's funny.
Yep.
But here's an interesting thing. I don't know if you can see my screen, but when you look here at the New York Times, the link I provided you earlier, you got all the reds and the blues. But here's the interesting thing. Click on counties, and you really see the difference right there. This is what made Trump win, was the counties themselves. Because just the blue for Hillary is just so sparse. It's not. I mean, it's just so out there. It's not even that clear. I mean, it's so clear that to see that Trump won it overall. I mean, he just blew it away. But I understand why everyone thought that she was going to win, because usually it's always the big northeast corner is usually what they get. Sometimes Florida is a Democrat. I don't know. Sometimes they go back and forth, and then she gets the whole West Coast.
Yeah.
And those are some pretty big numbers. Mostly over here in the Northwest or Northeast, in California. Washington, where I'm at, that's nothing. I mean, it's just 12 points, 7 for Oregon, not a whole lot over there. But
right.
I was really shocked to see like Ohio and Florida actually go for Trump. I honestly did not see that happening. Yeah.
It's hard, because that Rust Belt, the unions, man, the unions are so hard to crack through, man.
Yeah.
But look, these are people who are watching their jobs go bye-bye. Manufacturing jobs are few and far between in this country, So I got to think that even if you're a Democrat and you have Trump saying, look, you send like Ford was talking about going to build a plant in China, or no, I'm sorry, in Mexico, and importing trucks back over here to save on manufacturing costs. He said, you do that, I'm going to charge you a 40% tariff. Now, the executives, Trump said that.
Oh, Trump said that. Okay.
Yeah, Trump said that. And what do you think every Ford employee in those plants said? Hell yeah. The executives weren't happy to hear that, but that kind of thing would absolutely resonates with the blue collar working man, and I think that's where Trump absolutely won it,
Yeah, he dominated that because he spoke with everyone. I mean, that was another thing too. I listened to his one particular podcast, and they kind of analyzed his whole campaign, from the beginning. And what's really interesting is that he always spoke in very simple words. He never spoke in any multi-syllable words. He just always kind of spoke in a very simplistic way, and he really related with a lot of the people in that form of language. A lot of people just kind of understood where he was coming from. He's a billionaire, but still a lot of people probably felt more comfortable with him and can probably to a degree trust him more than Hillary. I mean, it was just, with all the emails that have been exposed over the past, month, I think people were finally getting a clue as to, it's like, we're not going to deal with this. We're not going to deal with her for another 4 years. And I think that's probably another positive event I kept thinking about was Trump, being that he's not a politician. Yeah, he's a businessman, and he's probably not exactly the most, clean businessman around. I mean, I've heard that he has some ties to the mafia over in New York and other places and all, but still, he's just looking for business. I mean, he's just trying to make his business grow. So I think a lot of people can probably relate with that and saying, okay, well, I want him on my side when it comes to growth and for my business, or whatever. I mean,
right.
So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I mean, I know that right now it's probably not. It's not too soon to call it. I don't know. What do you think?
It really depends on Pennsylvania and Michigan. If Trump wins Pennsylvania, if he wins either one of them, he's
it's 97% done, and it's showing a little red right now over in Pennsylvania. 48.5 for Trump and 47.9 for Hillary.
Yeah, I mean, and look, we're gonna have recounts. We're gonna have.
I'm wondering if that's gonna happen. Yeah,
dude, we're gonna have stories of voter intimidation, voter disenfranchisement, vote machine, malfunctions, and things of that nature. Like, yeah, it's gonna go nuts. Hey, the Young Turks are streaming live right now. Are you familiar with the Young Turks?
Oh yeah, I've heard of them.
Let's hear. These guys got to be beside themselves. Let's listen in on these. We'll screen share here because this.
I mean, conniption.
yeah. Let's see. Would that one goofball have a heart attack right on stage? All right, here we go.
So did I. I forgot about Alaska. So not only do you have to win Alaska, But I just looked at their thing and I'm like, how did they go up from 14 to 21%? What happened? But Michigan got closer. Pennsylvania still close. New Hampshire got closer. Maine and Minnesota, she's likely to win. That does it
Could be
right there.
Alaska.
271. And
You
then that
think Trump already won, but you know nothing.
Wow.
Okay, we got to
I'll escort myself out.
If he wins,
Unbelievable.
England's looking at us saying,
Is that John
"You laughed at
Sally?
us about Brexit?"
Totally. Yes.
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
that's right.
Oh, yeah. Okay, we got to take a break. Here's what's happening now.
That's John
Yeah,
Sally, the basketball player. What is he doing on the Young Turks? Well, that's goofy.
Wade through Alaska. No, I'm kidding. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But when we come back, the other thing we got to discuss is
It would be hilarious if Alaska decided the election with their 3 electoral votes.
Just to top it off, go for Trump.
Right, all the lawyers go to Anchorage to hash it all out.
It ends up to be them, the deciding point,
Mhm.
the deciding factor. That's hilarious.
Yeah, it could change politics forever, because you never see the campaign speech in Montana.
No.
Cheyenne, Wyoming, big campaign stop for Hillary. Yeah, that's not happening.
Did you notice what happened in Utah with that Evan McMullen guy?
No. Mm-mm.
Did you see? Okay, well, if you saw the numbers, this is really interesting. This is what really tilted. I think this is what got Trump in. It's to seal the deal. If you look at the numbers right here, it says Donald Trump. Darn it, stay still. It says he got 50.7% of the vote. Now Hillary Clinton only got 22.6. Evan McMullen only got 22.1. I think Hillary was counting on. Well, it appears that all the Democrats, like, either voted for Hillary or voted for Evan. So all the Republicans focused on Trump.
Wow.
I think Hillary was counting on everyone to all the Trump supporters to go to Evan. If it was the other way around, then Hillary could have had a better chance. I mean, I know, granted though, it's only 6 electoral votes, not a huge number, but still,
right.
It was Evan who screwed up Hillary's chances. I think this was the state that screwed everything up. I mean, that's my opinion.
With its 6 electoral votes. Yeah, it's interesting. Okay, I'm going to turn on the Young Turks. I think this might be a commercial. What are they talking about? All right.
It's a show about historical events and famous figures that you've known.
Okay,
I'm gonna
this must be
talking
an
about
ad.
things with some of my favorite people. Some people have seen the show and they've
Oh, these people are so depraved.
Oh, I know.
All right, let's see. What oh my goodness, what are we watching here?
This is terrible.
All right, what do you want to watch? You want to see? Let's see NBC News. Let's see what NBC News has to say here about of course, the advertising. These
Gotta have the
capitalists.
advertising. To see all the was that all the Hillary ads? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Get the full stories exclusively on the NBC News app for Amazon Fire TV and Echo.
But throughout the country, we have seen record numbers of
49 to 46.
Florida, Lester.
215 to 40 to 244. Yeah, that's accurate. Okay.
Yeah, I think
clearly wasn't enough in Florida, and it may not be enough in other states.
Jose Diaz-Balart, good to see you, Jose. Thanks very much.
Good
We
to
will
see
take
you.
a break.
Thanks.
We continue to watch and wait for the dramatic.
More breaks.
we're catching everyone at
2016
commercial.
on
That's
this
very
Decision Night
typical.
in America. We'll be right back.
They know that you're looking.
Yeah, yeah.
Bible Thumping Wingnut's trying to get us broadcasted.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So, did you have a dog in this fight?
This was for Trump, or are you talking about just in general?
Yeah, I mean, were you pulling for Trump actively, or
Not actively. I was actually kind of an underground supporter, I think. I mean, I would say that I definitely did not want Hillary, obviously. But I never really said, I'm for Trump. I never really waved that flag and saying, I'm going to go and get him. But at the same time, I'm thinking, I don't see anyone else. And the only thing that seemed attractive to me for Trump being president was the simple fact that he is not a politician, and that his goal, I think, is to shake things up, at least, kind of wake up a lot of people and realize, oh, our government's really screwed up, and we need to go ahead and, it's come down to this, where we have a guy from New York who's basically a celebrity.
Yep.
To become president. This is what it's come down to, folks. Is we now have a celebrity as our president. But on the other hand, the last celebrity we had as a president was Ronald Reagan. And a lot of people said, yeah, that turned out pretty good. So who knows? Yeah. If anything, no, I hope he exposes a lot. I hope he sticks with what he promises, unlike what Obama. Is that Obama crying?
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
We got to meme that right there.
That's beautiful, man.
Yes, we can.
Because of the Supreme Court.
All right, let's see. Anything back on YouTube here?
Yeah, my wife was just saying that I think one of the main draws for Trump was for the Supreme Court decisions in the future. I think we have a better chance of getting someone more conservative in our in our Supreme Courts, in case he needs to pick someone.
Yeah, but the thing is this is what gets me, dude. And maybe you've heard me talk about this on the podcast, so if you have, forgive me. But look, man, Bush had the Supreme Court 5-4 his entire 8 years. He had a majority House and Senate GOP for 6 of the 8 years, and nothing meaningful was done to curb abortion during his presidency.
You're right. Yeah, no, yeah.
There was, of course, the whole partial birth abortion debate and trying to, curb like third trimester abortions. But yeah, there was nothing done to curb abortion in any real meaningful way. And that's disappointing. So my whole thing with like, oh, we need the Supreme Court, like, well, for what? For what? I mean, like the Supreme Court, the whole reason both sides want the Supreme Court, or so they claim, is for the abortion issue. Now, the Democrats actually want it for the abortion issue. But I really feel this very strongly, and I think that it's at least anecdotally true, is that Republicans need the abortion issue to raise money off of. I'm going to fight for life. I'm going to fight for the life of babies and blah, 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 blah. But really, what's been done in any meaningful form or fashion whatsoever to protect the unborn? It's almost like how Democrats need the black vote, but they don't want the black vote. And you could just say the minority vote. They need Latinos, but Democrats need it, but they don't want it. Republicans need the abortion issue, but they don't want it. Or at least so they say.
Right.
I don't know. Let's see what this pundit is saying.
Republican at this time, but we're watching to see what's happened. Now, I can tell you, we're watching, but they're tearing down this room behind
so
me.
This is Paul Ryan. This is a Wisconsin candidate.
A a very happy party for Speaker
Paul Ryan won, didn't he?
I'm actually pretty surprised. I thought for sure they would still be sticking around, biting their fingernails. I thought there would be a little bit more excitement. We should probably mention, Obama carried it in 2008 with 56% of the vote. And then in 2012, Obama carried Wisconsin for 53% of the vote. So if it goes Donald Trump's way, there will be a lot of conversation in Wisconsin about what happened.
Absolutely. And in strongholds for Democrats, like around Madison, where the university is, the state capitol, those are places where, from the operatives we've been talking to, the vote has not been fully tallied. And the strong parts of the state for Republicans, Waukesha County, that vote has come in. So this could be a nail biter. It is expected to go into the night. We expect that on big election nights. The fact that they're packing up the room, I guess they feel pretty good about it here, and so some of the supporters have decided to go home. But we will watch for this. Speaker Ryan did not respond to questions. I shouted sort of at him in the ballroom to try to get his attention. He declined to comment on Trump's strength tonight or the state of the race. We expect in the coming days, Speaker Ryan will have...
Ryan wasn't supporting Trump, was he?
Not at all. Nope.
Chanel?
Yeah, he was keeping his distance from him.
Keep the lights on so you can still do some live reporting for us.
Yeah, it's
Thank you, Kelly. Thank you. All right, joining us now is Jennifer.
very interesting how the party was divided on that.
That's really interesting how it's going to play out over the next, year. Is what's going to happen with the Republicans who would not, stand on his, by his side. I think it's going to be a rough year, to be honest. But I mean, as far as I saw, we won the House. We got the House, but I don't remember if the Senate is under Republican control. But
we can talk about that here. Let's see. Let me go back one click here. We can look at the Senate. The Senate Republicans lost one, but they still have a very narrow majority, 48 to 47. New Hampshire is still being counted with 84% of the vote. Looks like that'll go Republican. Pennsylvania looks like it will go Republican with 98% of the vote. And Missouri looks like it's going to go Republican with 81% of the vote in. So, but it doesn't say which one is the incumbent there. In any of those ones that are toss-up, I don't see what the incumbents are. For the House, the Republicans have lost 4 seats, but still have a major majority. Minnesota looks like it's going to split. Looks like there's one Republican pickup and one Democrat pickup that is likely to go. New Hampshire looks like that is going to go Democrat with 88% of the vote in. And hey, there's someone named Hurd in Texas who looks like they're going to win in the 23rd district in Texas. I wonder if they're related to Tim. Maybe we can get him on the podcast. Probably one of those cultural Christians down in Texas. Bible Belt Christian.
Yeah, here's the page I've been going to. I've been to the New York Times. I like their map and also their real-time forecast, basically. But they are predicting, the 95% Republican, 95% chance of them succeeding. And looks like 52 to 48 is what they're predicting right now. And yeah, you're right, 48 to 47. Here's what kills me is, with me being in Washington, we've had the same stinking senator, Patty Murray, for I don't know how many terms she served. She must have. I think she's on yeah. She's been there for like a good, I don't know, like how long? 25 years she has been our senator.
That's so ridiculous.
It's so ridiculous. I know. It's just like, come on. But she keeps winning every single year. I mean, every single election that is, up for her. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it really it's one of those things where it's like, I think term limits fundamentally sound really good, but at the same time, you know, you don't do that in any other arena, right? Like boxing, you know, it's not like, hey, if you win the belt, you get to keep it for 2 fights, and then it just kind of goes out in the open and 2 new guys get to fight for it.
Right.
You know, as long as the champ has the belt, you know, he's there to defend it. And as long as the people keep voting for these people, you know, these career politicians like John McCain and, you know, again, Strom Thurmond. I mean, good night. That guy was getting wheeled in. He looked like he was dead. Like Weekend at Bernie's.
They had to bring in paddles every time. Yeah.
Oh, dude. Like, they just needed that vote, man. So get his warm body in there. He's not doing anything. I mean, come on. That guy wasn't doing any meaningful legislation work. Come on. You know, he's not on any major committee.
Funny thing. Speaking of that, I mean, I remember, you know, people kept saying the argument of Hillary was much more qualified to be president. But when you look at her record for Senate voting, she didn't vote for hardly anything at all. Well, she only did like 3 major votes, and the most biggest vote that she did was the Iraq War, and she voted for it.
Right, the Iraq War. Yeah, and that was Obama's thing too. It's like there's really nothing to critique. There was no record to critique because he was 75% of the time.
Yeah,
you know. So
how can they say that? Oh yeah, they're the most qualified when they have no record to show? I mean, it just seems to be the same tactic that all the Democrats want to use. Is they just go in and they, you know, they vote like the most lamest little things, like, oh, I'll vote for this post office name, and that's about it. You know, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And you know,
this guy,
Senate, the House,
the Raging Cajun.
presidency. I mean, it is a utter disaster if you're a Democrat in terms of having any political power in the country right now.
True, but also the big question that comes out of this is, what does it mean to be in the Republican Party?
Well, but the Republican Party is now led by someone who's not even a Republican.
Well, that's my
Oh, this guy.
my
Yeah.
point. It's like, so, okay, Democrats are out of power, Republicans are in, but what define Republican?
Yet the Republican Party, even though it's led by someone who's not a Republican, is absolutely right, has all this power. And if Trump does win, indeed, it's going to have to govern, right? But he will have been elected by a segment of the population. I mean, you know, Latino voters came out, African American voters came out. They came out in robust numbers, but they voted for the other candidate, and it was not a rainbow coalition that will have elected Donald Trump. And it's not just a Rust Belt phenomenon, but it seems to be, you know, the more diverse, cosmopolitan, plugged-in urban areas of the country versus the smaller towns, the rural areas that are not connected to the global economy, that have not felt they have
those hillbillies and hayseeds,
from globalization and from technological change.
Eugene, can I ask you this though? Can we sort of comprehend this fact? We're going to go from the first African American president, and he's going to be replaced by somebody who questioned that president's legitimacy for more than half this man's term.
Exactly.
Well,
not only
what is the message that rural America is sending about that?
Well, the message is, you know, I think a lot of the message is embedded in the phrase "take our country back."
Yeah.
You know, and I've always kind of wondered, take it back from whom? And maybe that's the answer.
The establishment.
The establishment, exactly.
Dude, that's what these guys don't get. Is like,
and he also came out
these elitists, these smug talking head elitists. Look at this guy. Go read.
Tom Brokaw is still alive?
Yeah, I know. Like
skeleton with hair.
should have selected a man to lead the country who engaged in outright misogyny, the stuff that he's
misogyny
people in this country, and how they didn't.
Is he talking about Trump or Bill Clinton?
Mocked them in the panel when he was a new.
Yeah, good point.
And there's Chuck Todd on his cell phone.
And went on the stage and uttered the worst vulgarity that you can possibly say in public.
Yeah.
And took great pride, and they cheered him on. 25,000 people. That's who he is. And, you know, they tried to change him halfway through the campaign. He wouldn't change because he said, look, I know what I'm doing. I'm putting on a show here. So does he continue that way as the president of the United States? And does that affect how he stands in this country as well. Once they get beyond the rush of having elected a guy who's going to take on the establishment, then when they realize who he is at his core, and everybody who's been around him knows that's who he is.
Now, there's a clumsy 30,000 feet theory of presidential elections, and see if you agree with me on this, Chuck. If you just look,
He was still on his phone.
for example, President Bush, the first one, is followed by someone totally different than him, Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton, with all his attendance scandals, is followed by someone totally different than him, Mr. Clean. So he was, as advertised, George W. Bush. George W. Bush, considered something of a hothead, you know, cowboy type, then replaced by the cool, intellectual,
cerebral. This is the
Barack
Rahm
Obama.
This is the Rahm Emanuel
Okay, now
theory
if
of
you go with
presidential
this
politics.
theory, it has always pointed to Trump, because if you looked up or tried to create in a lab someone completely the polar opposite of Barack Obama in every way.
Think of what
you
she's
would
saying there.
come up with a
Like
picture of Donald Trump.
Obama's like the gold standard for intellect and elitism. And it's like, oh, now go and create something the complete opposite of that. And what you have is Trump. Like, these.
State of Iowa, for sure. And we also know there
How
are
do
a
these
whole
people
bunch
have
of
jobs?
Obama Trump voters. Obama 12, and they went Trump. Now, part of it was Mitt Romney was Obama turned Mitt Romney into the boss that wanted to fire you and send your job overseas. So Romney was sort of an old Republican argument, you know, the businessman argument, and Barack Obama exploited that.
But add to the things that Tom said, and add to the fact that he didn't know and didn't care to know and kind of relished the fact that he didn't know anything about anything. That he knew more about ISIS and the generals, that he got his information from the TV shows on foreign policy. I mean, all of the things that he said.
Let's bring Mark Halper into the conversation. He's over there with Hallie
You
Jackson.
know, we've had enough of you.
Hey
Let's
there,
get
Leslie. Yeah,
someone
we're
else
actually
in.
over in the area where we're getting all of our video and images in from all around the country in battleground states, including a campaign headquarters. My colleague Peter Alexander is reporting a sense of real euphoria inside Trump Tower right now. Mark, you just came over here from, I think, Peninsula, right? You were spending some time with Clinton folks.
Yeah, I mean,
aides. What's the mood?
Manhattan is you know, with big giant country, and Manhattan is the center of the universe tonight for a change. Hillary Clinton chose to spend her pre-election event time at the Peninsula Hotel. It's 4 blocks up the road from here, about 3 blocks from Trump
Hey, Lynn,
Tower.
this is my last tweet that I did.
3 blocks apart.
Yeah, lose you?
Yeah, no, I'm back. I'm back. Something, I had an error. Something happened here. What was your last tweet?
Mood couldn't have been more jubilant. It was.
Can you see that? Oh, hold on.
Yeah, sure.
Let me share my screen. And
Next stop, jail. You know, it's crazy. I suppose it's possible, but boy, I just don't see it happening. You know,
no, the FBI has already twice said, "Oh, we won't do it."
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it's like I don't see Trump really doing anything to, you know. Yeah, and plus, he's in the executive branch. He's not in the judicial branch. He really doesn't have the authority to go after Hillary. Hey, Curtis, welcome. Yeah, man, it's crazy. I was talking to Tim about this earlier. Like, Martha Stewart went to jail.
Yeah, I remember. I heard your podcast about that.
1/10 of what Hillary's done, and she did 3 years.
Yeah, that was just for stock manipulation.
Right.
You know, she just did a little, you know, fudging with the numbers.
Right.
So she can get a little more profit.
Right. And you know, 3 years isn't, you know, 3 years is a long time, dude.
Being cooped up in jail. Yeah.
I would jail, man. I would not make it, man. Oh, I'd be done. I'd be like in Shawshank Redemption, that guy who was the first one to cry and beat him to death. That would be me in prison. Pretty sure. Oh, goodness.
Yeah, prison is not what I wanted. Yeah.
Mm-mm. You know what though? I mean, as Christians, I mean, we should probably be expecting it at some point, right? Someday.
Some point. I kind of keep wondering that too. I mean, it's little by little. Like you said, I think earlier you mentioned how, with Hillary would have been like what'd you say, like a logging truck going downhill when
Right.
it comes to at least with Trump, it's going to be a little slower. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But little by little, I think they're picking away at our liberties, and that's what they want. They want to go ahead and just keep, just keep pulling away more and more of our liberties, and next thing you know, we won't have much left when it comes to our rights, our inalienable rights.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. It's like, they don't realize that, these rights are inalienable. Meaning you can't take them away.
That's right.
You're born with them.
They're given by God.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, exactly. They're given by God. So therefore, this is something that they can't take away. But not only that, but a lot of people, what they don't understand is that they think the Constitution is what gives us rights. But what they don't understand is, no, the Constitution just tells you that these are the rights that you already have.
Right.
And that the Constitution is to prevent government from taking it away from you. That's what we always have to remember, is that that's what the Constitution is about. It's not a document that gives us rights. It's a document that tells us that we already have those rights, and it prevents the government from taking it away. That's something I guess I wish more and more politicians would remember. But it's never the case.
Yeah, I mean, I just kind of, as we were talking about this, I just Googled the preamble of the Constitution.
Yeah,
it's very short, but I mean, I think that's it's a very powerful. It's one sentence. This is literally one sentence. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. Like I said, I'm not going to sit here and say that every framer of the Constitution was a Christian, but it's just it's ridiculous to even question how strong the Christian influence was.
Right.
I mean, the framers of the Constitution had a very very heavily Christian influenced. Whether they were Christian or not, we can maybe have, that's a different discussion. But the influence, the Declaration of the Declaration of Independence has even stronger wording, and that the Declaration of Independence is actually a rejection of tyranny.
Right.
Let's see.
I was going to say, have you ever looked at your own state's constitution and read it?
Not in a long time.
Yeah. I love how the Constitution of the state of Washington starts off. It says, "We the people, grateful to the supreme ruler of the universe for our freedoms." And so what a way to start it off. I mean, it's so contrast now to what our government and our nation really believes in now. It's like, they're just saying, they recognize that there is a supreme ruler of the universe.
Yeah. Yeah, here's the preamble for Wisconsin. It says, "We, the people of Wisconsin, grateful to Almighty God for our freedom in order to secure its blessings, form a more perfect government, ensure domestic tranquility, and promote the general welfare to establish this Constitution. So kind of starts off the same as the...
Amen. Yeah.
Yeah. In Wisconsin, a lot of plagiarists here, apparently. So, yeah. Let's see what if there's any interesting coverage happening right now. Let's see. There's ABC News. I haven't checked in with them yet. And of course, probably going to have to wait on an ad. Yep. 30-second ad. Nope, only 15 seconds.
But while you're waiting, check this out. This is interesting. On the New York Times link there, they have a new option here that says change from 2012. And they kind of break down as far as which state went right and which ones went left.
Oh, wow.
So look all that. Yeah, all these arrows. So there's, Utah went a little bit left. But for the most part, though, yeah, huge difference.
Wow.
I guess. Yeah.
Very
shift in margin. Yeah, that's what you're saying. Yeah. More Democratic to more Republican. Wow, that's really fascinating.
That also had to deal with how Latinos were treated in the state. So I think that Arizona is one that I'm watching, but this is one of the things I'm reflecting on is that we're here at this Times Square location, very diverse crowd outside. I walked through the crowd, a lot of people from other countries visiting America, very racially diverse Americans, but this is not all of America, as we well know tonight. And I think that more than ever, we are seeing these divisions. And in a state like Arizona, you see them, side by side, the Latino Arizona and the white Arizona, and they do overlap, but not as meaningfully as one might expect.
So I think we have the raw
what does that
numbers
mean
from the outstanding states. I think it'd be worth taking a look just to give people a sense of where things.
How does that make you feel, man? Every time you watch like these kind of talking heads, they always want to throw in the whole race thing. And I always thought that it's like, why keep bringing up race about this? Why can't you just bring up,
yeah, dude,
people?
It's crazy.
Stop causing division. That's what you're doing.
The only reason race is still an issue is because Democrats need it to be. They absolutely need it to be. And dude, did you see there was a video that came out this week of how liberals really feel about black people, kind of like who's the real racist? So they went on to like a college campus. It was like a Mark Dice style man.
It was Project Veritas, the guys who have been doing it, for the past few weeks.
Yeah, so you saw that then?
I did. Yeah. It was pretty shocking.
Asking black people to provide a voter ID, like they don't have access to a DMV, they don't have internet access, and they don't know how. And then he went into a black neighborhood and was like, "Do you have an ID?" Yeah. Like everyone he talked to, "Do you have an ID?" Yeah. "Do you have internet access?" Yeah. Like, dude, the Democrats want. Actively, they need to hold black people down, and they need to give a perception of black people that without us, they're helpless. Don't you understand? They're helpless. I was actually in Wisconsin. Voter ID passed, and this is the first time ever that I've been voting for. Let's see. Oh man, 24 years, dude. I've been voting 24 years. That's crazy. That's over half my life. And this is the first year I've ever been asked for an ID. It was kind of weird. And I remember a couple years ago when we first, this would have been our first year in this town would have been 2000. So we moved here and my wife and I went to vote. We pulled out our IDs and you would have thought you were showing them kryptonite or porn or something. Like, put those away.
Wow.
They were like offended that we pulled out IDs. It's just crazy.
Good night. That's crazy.
Yeah. Minnesota's going to go Hillary. That's no surprise. Yeah. Minnesota has a Muslim senator.
Wow.
Yep. Sworn in on the Quran, dude. They swore him in on the Quran.
Minnesota?
Yep. Let's see here.
Isn't that the place where they have the biggest Muslim population?
They do have a huge Muslim population, but that's actually Michigan.
Oh, that's Michigan. That's right.
Yeah.
Doesn't Matt Slick go there sometimes for his sat nav or whatever it's called?
I'm not sure.
But that's where you go sometimes. Here's something funny. I don't know if you ever saw this, but this is this link here called Google Trends, and it basically breaks down hour by hour all the complaints that people have had in each state. So like the purple stands for long wait times, the blue, which you see a tons of, provisional ballots, inactive voter status is yellow, which I haven't really seen much of those. Red is voter intimidation. There's actually voter intimidation going on around these areas. And then the pink, which is probably the one I've been most interested in, is the voting machine problems. So you can refresh it, and then it basically gives you a whole rundown as far as what's it been doing for the past, several hours throughout the course of the day. So that's really interesting. And then you can kind of click on each state and kind of just take a look and see what kind of issues that they've been having today. I think it's a pretty cool little website. It's like, oh.
Still live? Can you hear me, dude?
I can hear you.
Oh, okay, dude. I can't believe it.
Yeah. You're still alive.
Yeah, I see that. That's crazy. Because, dude, I left my
Dropped
cord
out.
upstairs. I didn't think I'd be down here this long, to be honest with you. But it worked out.
I don't have a screen now. All I have is only a white screen in the background.
Yeah, I gotta change my settings here. Let's see here. Do that, and then do that. And it should, no, hold on a second here. There we go. Well, I may just have to switch cameras here. Let me try
There you
one
go.
more time. Nope, doesn't like me. Oh, well, that's fine. I'm going to probably be doing a lot more screen sharing in this, so this one's just a little bit more grainy. So you were showing me a map before. Do you still have that?
Yeah, I do. Hold on here. Let me.
It was like voter complaints.
Yeah, basically voter problems. So, like I said, they each ones are color coded here as far as the. So like the blue is all the provisional ballots, yellow is the inactive voter status, red is voter intimidation, and pink is the voter machine problems. So I thought that was probably the most interesting one. It would be the thing. So here we got the whole timeline going through. So 9 p.m. all the way to midnight. So right now it's just mostly just nothing but the provisional ballots that are going through. You can also just get rid of all that. And it's like, okay, I just want to see what the thing. I think the red and the pink ones are probably the most fascinating ones. I'm always curious about voter intimidation. Do you remember that back when Obama was first running in 2008 and he had the Black Panthers
Yeah. Dude, I don't know why people fell for, like, what are you scared of? You just walk right past them, and if they do something stupid, like, it's all going to be on camera. It's all like,
yeah,
you know, I don't know. I just don't know why people get so easily intimidated. They're not holding a gun. Like, it's just
No.
a big black dude trying to, he's like standing there, like trying to be a you know, a big dog in the backyard or something. Like, come on. But I suppose if I were an 85-year-old woman, I might feel differently about that. Yeah, here, let me show you this this video of this Muslim getting sworn in on the Quran. This just happened in oh, how come I can't hear it? Probably because I don't have the volume on the video.
Or just your perspective, you can. Virtual college at North Central Technical College. Flexible start, flexible deadlines,
Yeah,
flexible
Keith
funding.
Ellison, that's his name. And of course, it's all painted as this great thing, right?
Of course, that's going to be the script.
Like,
They
look,
want you to
look
think
at
that
our
it's wonderful.
diversity. How come his wife is uncovered? Shouldn't she be honor killed?
Uh-oh.
There's Nancy Pelosi. Look at all the pomp and circumstance around this.
How come there's two of them?
I don't know. Maybe one. I don't know.
Is one of them the Hadith?
Well, that's what I was wondering, but they look like
Yeah.
the same book.
Look at Nancy Pelosi. Oh, I'm so politically correct.
I wonder if he has a King James Quran or an NIV Quran.
Yeah. Can't be beat. You're gonna vote.
It's the NIV.
The not inspired version of the Quran, which is pretty much all of them.
Many different faiths and many different kinds of people, and Muslims are getting used to the idea that they can and should be engaged in American politics.
I wonder what the bills
Do you solemnly
passed lately.
swear or
What's that?
So I wonder what bills and laws that he's passed lately.
Yeah, well, I don't know, man.
Crying Obama.
Yeah, weeping Obama. Poor guy. All right. Let's see what the pundits are saying here.
Yes, we can.
Give that man a tissue. All right, let's see here. Donald Trump victory speech. Oh, that's just an empty podium that 28,000 people are watching. All right, let's go to ABC News again. Or NBC. I want to see Chuck Todd checking his phone while everyone is talking again. NBC News. Still 770,000 people watching this live stream. That's crazy.
Maybe we should go on C-SPAN. Usually they have like a call-in.
Oh, yeah.
You can go on there and promote your show.
Yeah, this is the Bible thumping wingnut. I got something to say.
Exactly.
I've got a lot to say. Let's see here. Oh, they're not doing anything live though, unfortunately.
Wow, really?
That really
I think they
surprised me.
would.
All right. Now I got to sit through another commercial.
It's the same one.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Full stories exclusively on the NBC for Amazon Fire
that one
TV
out.
and Echo.
First Family are there. We do not expect to hear from the president tonight. The guidance was that we would probably hear from him once the dust is settled, once there is definitely an outcome, and perhaps that's going to happen tomorrow. But you have to wonder, what is President Obama thinking and feeling tonight, given the effort that he put into trying to get Hillary Clinton into the White House? And given
All the
fact
gas
that
he
it may
burned
be
through Air
Donald
Force
Trump, the
One
man who led the
campaigning
birther
for her.
movement, who questioned his very legitimacy, who may follow him into the White House.
It's affecting climate change.
Michigan, he was in Florida, he was in North Carolina, on the trail, ridiculing Donald Trump. And months ago, he said, the president did, that Donald Trump will not become president of the United States. Well, we'll see what happens as the...
Well, he's not
Wow.
Nostradamus.
He won't even admit to it. He won't even fess up and say, yeah, he won.
This has been just a stunning night. There are several hundred people out here. It's all peaceful. The Secret Service are here. They're watching this.
How is no one photobombing this guy?
The setup
Couldn't someone try to get on YouTube?
inauguration ceremony that happens in a couple of
There's someone catching Pokemon right
we're
behind
outside
him.
the White House. A peaceful gathered, waiting to see how
That's how Trump won. Pokemon.
Ron Allen, quite a crowd there for this time of the morning outside the White House. Thanks very much. Before I go to the panel, Chuck, just for those who are flipping back and forth, this you may be listening to this and thinking we're talking about a foregone.
Chuck, put your phone down.
for Hillary Clinton here.
It's very narrow. I mean, I'll be honest. I don't see. There's two things that
Not that narrow.
Pennsylvania and Wisconsin here. Both of them look like they're trending Trump. I think we're pretty close to. Wisconsin just seems.
Wow, they're speechless.
Yeah, we're gonna wait till everything comes in, but he's got about a 50. What is he up to? Excuse me, that's the Wisconsin. Let's look at Pennsylvania. He's got a 58,000 vote lead, and there's no Philadelphia.
That's a close one.
There's no big sections left. She can still win Michigan, but they may not matter. Pennsylvania plus Wisconsin, done deal.
We think we know where this is going.
Yeah. I mean, but again, barring some, I say this because
Say it.
50,000 in Florida and the missing 50,000, literally a 50,000 vote switch.
You keep talking about buckets of votes.
No, that one was. It
We all have
Oh, I'm sure there's ballots in the trunk of someone's car.
Right. And I think that one was like a miss.
Keep the
frankly,
faith,
a
lady.
typo by
Keep the
somebody
faith.
And a clerk. But 50, if we were at
58,000
5,000,
is
yeah,
more than a
yeah,
bucket.
if we had 5,000 votes, 4,000 vote difference, you would sit there and say that. 58,000 votes is, that's the story here. It's the rural areas of the big blue wall.
You may have noticed on the end of the table here, we've added Richard Engel, our chief foreign correspondent. Richard, you're spending a lot of your time overseas. You know what they.
He looks like
say
he's
about
been crying.
Their maze. What are you hearing tonight? What are you reading?
Well, let's just cut to the chase. Assuming, and that's what we're talking about, that he does win.
They all look depressed. They really do.
It's catastrophic for the United States, that it's catastrophic for our position in the world. It emboldens our enemies and adversaries. It makes our allies terrified that
Here
we're not
come the
going
scare
to be
tactics.
their allies anymore. Most people think that this type of scenario happens, that if you imagine the United States as a nuclear warship, we stop. We become totally focused on our own domestic politics, that he's going to provoke a constitutional crisis. He's going to get into a fight with the Supreme Court. There'll be attempts to impeach him. And that for 6 months to a year or longer, we will be navel gazing. We will not be leading the world. And other powers, Russia, China, adjust around us.
He has called our general stupid. He has advocated.
Let me tell you,
tonight
the general is
torture.
reading the Constitution.
I'm sorry, say it again.
Someone should
General,
remind these people
I've been talking
the
to generals for a long
campaign's
time.
over.
They've been reading the Constitution to see what they
Yeah, it's done.
they are really ordered to round up and deport millions of Americans and put them on buses or trains. Do they have to do that? The president is the commander in chief.
Yes.
That's the stage that we're talking about. It's, do they have to follow what they would believe would be an immoral and illegal order? So you have to look at this as a transformative event, with America's role, not just domestically, but internationally.
Let me throw this at you. The national intelligence, the White House, everyone has agreed that the Russians have taken an active role in this election. Because it's a political thing, it sometimes
Yes.
gets overlooked. But
Putin is
but that's-
responsible.
If you take
Putin
and Russians interfering with any American process, it's
the Russians.
Well,
all the Russians' fault.
Look at the world, right?
Gotta
We
blame
used to live in
somebody.
a world with two great superpowers. And with the collapse of the Soviet Union, we're now left with the United States being the only remaining superpower. Well, that has its advantages and its disadvantages. The advantages, and also its disadvantage, that no other state can do to yourself, right? And it seems to be that that is what the United States is doing right now. And Russia, as the last superpower, decided that a way to regain its empire, to regain its position in the world, was to help undermine the political system. And I've been to Russia, I've spoken to hackers there, we've spoken to intelligence communities. They had no doubt that Russia was deeply involved in helping to undermine Hillary Clinton. They also expect that Russia has been stockpiling information on Trump.
Hey, the link I just gave on the side chat there is the live stream of Hillary Clinton's campaign headquarters, and everyone looks all depressed.
We're switching over. Let's get rid of this talking head. Let's get a new talking head. Live stream of
Hillary Clinton's campaign headquarters.
Bunch of mopey faces.
It was. Yeah, they're showing like these two women that look like, oh, you're gonna get an ad.
To 40.
It was so funny. It showed like these two ladies that were obviously like, you know, social justice warriors, and they're all just sad.
Right. Yep.
This cold and flu season, help keep your home happy and healthy. And Lysol that.
Oh, Hillary has no couth putting a 30-second ad up.
There it is. There's a stage.
You gotta hear a pin drop.
It's completely dead. Crickets. That's all you need to hear now.
Well, dude, I mean, her rallies, nobody was coming to see her the last.
No one showed up. I heard they were compared to Trump. Yeah, it's like there was like just maybe, you know, maybe a few hundred people that would show up for Hillary.
They got some inspirational happy music playing in the background.
What, they got Lady Gaga or Jay-Z going?
Probably someone who loves women. Was that you putting the cricket noise in?
Yeah.
Apropos. She should just come out and concede. Like, give up. Let everybody go to bed already.
Oh, come on. Show the close-ups of the people's faces.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of waiting for here. That's what I want to see is like, I want to see the in their face. Think of all the money that goes into these elections, dude. It's insane.
Oh, we're talking, yeah. Just for renting a room like that. I mean, yeah, it's got to be millions.
Oh, yeah, yeah. They're rocking. They are rocking.
Where are the balloons and streamers, man?
Right, right.
Where are they at? Wow, look at that. It's a huge place.
Yeah.
Yeah, she totally thought she was going to win. She had to have.
Well, you know, Mitt Romney had spent like $4 million on a fireworks display for his victory, like a fireworks display over the Statue of Liberty. He spent like $4 million on it. Like, cancel that.
I think I saw a headline that Hillary canceled her fireworks display in New York. Like yesterday or earlier today or something like that, I think, where she just was like, no way, I'm not gonna flaunt this. Wow. Oh man, earlier there was like people that were like totally just sad. Looks like they were crying.
We'll keep that up. We'll come back to that. Oops, I hit the wrong button. All right, let's minimize that. Let's go see if there's any change to any of the electoral maps. Oh, this guy's still talking. Let's see.
Is a very complicated task. So I just
think he's trying.
Back and saying, okay, well, the American people have spoken. We're just going to hope for the best, and maybe that once he walks into the Oval Office, he'll have some epiphany that he needs to be responsible.
Could he undo the Iran deal?
Yeah, of course he could.
But the fact is, Richard, the first half of your statement is the correct one. He has power because the American people gave it to him. And he didn't go to them with one set of values and then change to another. He stayed true to who he was, however much anyone may disagree with any of that. They bought into that. That's what they wanted. They thought that that's what Washington needed to see. They also thought it's what the world needed to see.
Well, they keep seeing that when the market crashes and when other things happen. There was the Brexit regret that happened.
Oh, I
afterwards.
understand that. I get that. But I'm telling you, that's the reality of where we are. That's the system that we have. People get to make a choice about who their leaders are. Then the leaders have to decide what kind of leaders they want to be. And it doesn't come
It's like
from
they're
outside.
still campaigning
It really comes
against
from
Trump.
inside who they are.
Yeah.
Like if
the last ditch effort.
Right. If everything they're saying about Trump here is true, like, shouldn't they be seeking a bunker somewhere? Like,
what kind of an international leader he'll be, about how much he understands how complex all of this is. Because
we're not watching. Trump is a mouth-breathing idiot.
Yeah. You make a good point. Their argument was always, oh, Trump's going to be the next Hitler. That's what they kept saying. But if that's the case, I mean, if you're really that sure of yourself that Trump was going to be the next Hitler, shouldn't you be packing your bags right now and getting out of the country?
Yeah, you should be going to Canada. All right, let's see what he's saying.
Anything from the inner circle.
Oh, look at her sad, mopey face.
Andrea Mitchell, so sad. You know who she's married to, right?
Now, there's a lot
No.
of anticipation here.
Alan Greenspan.
Oh, no kidding.
For one
No kidding.
not supposed to be open all night.
No conflict of interest there, huh?
Many
No.
have left, but many, many more are here. This is a very large facility, larger than you could even see from our camera angles.
Whoops.
That said, a number of calculations involved. Hillary Clinton won her Senate race in 2000, the night that Al Gore arguably conceded too soon.
Are they reminiscing right now? They're just trying to.
Wait, didn't she win her Senate seat by killing JFK Jr.?
He sure did.
Not have
That mysterious
said what
plane
he said
crash.
initially, and then of course he took it back, and then he was incredibly gracious, of course, when it was all over.
Yeah. You ever get a chance, Google search Clinton body bags or kill list. You'll find a whole lot of people who just died mysteriously around the Clintons.
Automatic recount.
All right, let's go see what Alex Jones is talking about. Alex Jones is just a wacko, but I love
Here's 1776 is going to come down on you.
Did you ever see when he got on Piers Morgan and was
Yeah,
threatening
that's what I was doing.
Oh man, that was an epic rant. So much cringe.
It's comedy gold.
Declared Pennsylvania. Donald Trump is now at 264. We are waiting for one more state to go to Donald Trump, Michigan or Wisconsin, and it's over, folks. It's over. And here is what we have. Again,
What
me
about
see here.
Arizona?
Wisconsin, it looks like we've got 96 reporting. Donald Trump is, it's over. It's over, folks. It's over. Can we look at Wisconsin? Look at Wisconsin, folks. It's
Almost
over.
100.
When is Trump coming on the podium?
Wow.
Boy,
We did it, America.
We-
did it.
Give me some skin, Owen. Give
And
me
this,
some skin.
and this is, I'm going to tell you this, the whole world is watching right now.
man.
The whole world is seeing this. The whole world sees that the American people are no longer asleep. The American people no longer have their heads buried in Kim Kardashian's butt. They no longer have their heads buried.
Wow.
We are back. We are back. The bastion of
Look-
freedom and liberty and justice. The United States is back. Donald Trump is our president. Screw you, establishment. You thought you could beat us. You failed. You underestimated the American people again. I dare you to underestimate
This
us.
is son.
And that will be the death of you if this Donald Trump presidency isn't already.
What is that dude,
of
like
the death of
23?
things, Okay, so
I know. I was gonna say, is that
Come
his
on,
son?
dude. He hasn't
think
shaved
she's
in
gonna
4
get into her
months and he
little
calls that a
medical
beard.
paddy wagon?
Oh,
He's got a cigar.
you know what?
He's a
guys?
Calvinist.
So, I wonder what this concession
Obviously.
speech will sound like. She's not. I mean, we know she's entitled.
Take responsibility.
Exactly.
very
She
well.
doesn't take
All right,
not
let's
getting
see
her
what the
way
Young
very
Turks
well.
are talking about.
Will we see the demon Hillary?
See the contrast.
Yeah.
They're all celebrating. Turks are probably huddled in a fetal position.
Right. They got 90,000 people watching them, dude.
Well, I'm going to give you.
Look at John Sally.
And by the way,
Wah,
I'm still
wah.
sorry, have not gotten to actual Trump cabinet. So when we come back, we'll talk about, oh boy, how much they can do. And remember what Ben pointed out in the second hour of today's coverage.
Wow, they're boring.
John Bolton. That's the guy who wanted to blow up the United Nations. That's the top neoconservative. He's more crazed than even Wolfowitz or Cheney.
Yeah.
So if you thought, oh no, Trump is an isolationist, won't get us into wars. Wrong again, Bob. So we'll talk about that when we return.
Wow. They are like as somber as can be. Now, I mean, this is they're gonna make all these bold predictions about all the terrible things that Trump is going to do. He's gonna lead us into war, and he's gonna so that they can have this grand "I told you so."
And Clinton was it
for the neocons? We warned you about this, wacko. You got what you wanted. Look, man, Hillary, dude. I don't think people understand just how bad things would have been under Hillary. I have no confidence under Trump. I think economically things will get better, but that man just I don't have a whole lot of confidence with him in the Constitution. But that's just my 2 cents. You still awake?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep, I'm here.
Oh, it's still early by you. Geez, that isn't even
Well, it's 10:50 here on the West Coast. But I'm up around 3. I gotta be up around 4 in the morning.
yeah?
So yeah, so I should probably bow out and let you.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna close her out here pretty quick myself. I'm not feeling real super energetic anymore. But I just thought, as these results are coming, it might be fun. Oh,
Good show.
What is this? Oh, this is just advertising. I thought that woman is
a whack job.
Oh my goodness. Oh man. Let's see if there's any update. One last update on the Real Clear Politics map. All right. Yep, they definitely gave Pennsylvania to Trump. No doubt. So he is at
That's quite a shock, actually. I expected the other way around.
They have Trump at 277 already. They already have Trump at 277. Let's see. Where's the math? They haven't given Maine to Hillary, although it looks like they might as well. She'll get New Hampshire.
Wow.
So what? Huh. Interesting. They already have, according to Real Clear Politics, Trump is our president.
Wow.
Yep. Here's the map.
Huh. Here on New York Times, it's 215 to 264. But you're right. Yeah, Pennsylvania. They just went and called it. So the only ones that really they're waiting on is Wisconsin, Michigan, and Arizona, and well, Alaska. But come on, let's be serious here.
Right.
There's no one there. Sarah Palin.
Look, you know, the thing that Democrats need to get rural, man, and just like Republicans need to get urban. You know, like what would a Republican have to do to win California? I think about that every election. Like, what would I mean? Well, first thing they'd have to do is abandon all their principles. You say, well,
you know, the funny thing is, I heard something about there's literally a movement going on where they believe, or there's some kind of movement going on where they want to create actually a new state that is like North California and south of Oregon. They literally want to create a whole new state, and I don't think it'll ever happen, but it's just kind of funny because they feel like they're not being representative at all, because you know everything north of the middle of, you know, from Eugene, Oregon to north is all mostly Democrats, and then you know North California, from everything from San Francisco north, I would say is probably Republican, at least conservative a little bit. But I mean, I can see why they would want to break off from these other states and just say, you know, we want our own, we want our own voice.
yeah,
But
yeah. Well, in a big sense, that's how northern Wisconsin is. When you get north, Madison is kind of in the, you know, there you go. So there you have like Madison, you have Washington County or Waukesha County. Wow, I'm really surprised how red southeast Wisconsin is.
Southeast.
Yep, down by Milwaukee.
Is this normally all?
Yeah, usually from
Democrats.
Usually from Green Bay down to where you are right now, all the way down to the bottom, and then over to the left where Madison is. Those 5 counties over there. That's usually all blue. That's called the Fox River Valley, from Green Bay down to Milwaukee. Although that's always kind of a toss-up. It can be pretty Republican, but that's kind of the heartland. And then that blue area up there, kind of in the dead center of the state, that's just south of me. That's Portage County, and that's the major university there, University of Wisconsin Stevens Point, very liberal down there. And then over there in Eau Claire, again, super liberal, another university area.
Oh, so these were all the universities are at. Oh, interesting.
Yep. And then same thing when you go up north there, Superior. Those 3 counties. Yeah, that's
Douglas County, Bakersfield, and Ashland. That's all just
but
universities also.
The thing is, like, usually if you go left of Eau Claire into like St. Croix and Dunn and Pierce counties, those counties typically go blue because that's right on the border of Minnesota, man. And very heavily liberal influence from Minnesota. You know, their cancer metastasizes into western Wisconsin.
Right.
So,
you know what I heard today when I was at work? That one Joe Rogan episode with oh, I'm drawing a blank now. Jesse DeBody Ventura. Yeah, I remember you guys were talking about that, and so I thought I'd just listen to it. It was interesting.
Look, Jesse Ventura is a brilliant dude, man. He is really
He said he might run. He might run next time.
Yeah, he could have won
2020.
He could have won this time, dude.
He could have. Yeah, I bet he would. But because of that problem that he had with the courts, with that American Sniper issue. Yeah, Chris Kyle. I had no idea what was going on with that. I kind of wasn't really paying attention with all that. So that was crazy.
Yeah, Chris Kyle's kind of a fraud, dude. Not kind of.
Yeah, he's a liar. Yeah.
Like, it's funny because I got that movie for Christmas a couple years ago, and I've never opened it.
Because of that?
Well, I mean, that movie is just a propaganda piece. Really, I mean, the whole book, everything is like, just have it's like how, we use Pat Tillman after 9/11,
Yeah.
which was shameful.
Propagate the whole war thing. That's about it.
Yep. Keep the gears well oiled on the war machine. Yep. Really what it was.
We're doing that.
Yep. Let's see what the Young Turks are talking about here. Oh, is this
say we're
more
accountable
commercial?
by our audience and our audience only, and I absolutely love that. That's the best part about being a member. We love you guys.
Keep the show. That's how they tried to get their people to give. Did you see? Well, I'm not screen sharing, but it said keep this show free of corporate influence. Then I had their website /donate, because if you don't give us money, that means we got to run out and get corporate donors, and it'll be your fault. These guys are such goofballs. Let's see how puppy dog sad their faces are when they come back on the air.
Fox News says 218 for Hillary, 254 for Trump. They've been kind of behind though. They really have. They still have Arizona in the gray. they don't really. They even have Minnesota right now in the gray, and Michigan, and Pennsylvania.
Dude, a lot of news services were burned in 2000 calling Florida for Gore early. And remember, Bush came out and said all of our exit polls say the exact opposite. We're not conceding Florida. We believe that we want to see everything counted and da-da-da-da-da. And so now, because of that, because I remember before that, dude, elections were over by like shortly after the 10 o'clock news. We knew who the president.
True.
Now it's like you gotta toil into the middle of the next day. Like, lunchtime tomorrow, we should know who our president is.
Of course, I'm sure they don't mind that with all the advertisement and all the ratings.
Oh, right, absolutely.
Yeah. It's a total dream for all the media.
Young Turks must be taking a break.
Taking a nap.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think it's time to pack.
I think it's good. Yeah.
We got a couple of hours here, I'm sure.
Lynn, I think we're going to call it.
Yeah. Well, you heard it here first.
A Bible Thumping Wingnut Network exclusive. We're gonna claim that Gary Johnson is the winner.
I declare Tim Hurd our new president.
Yeah, President Hurd.
Mm-hmm.
Looking forward to the next 100 days of your office. Let us know who you're going to choose for your White House staff, and can I be Secretary of State?
I was just going to say, I think you're the man for that job. Secretary of State or a Secretary of Defense. Just bomb everybody.
Yep.
All right, brother. Well, thanks for coming in and hanging out. It was fun.
Thanks for inviting me, man. That's great. And yeah, a lot of fun. So good.
All right, brother. Have a good night.
We'll try to make it. All right, take care.
See ya. All right, everybody. And with that, I think we had a good show here. I think we got a little bit of stuff off of my chest. I think we had a little fun listening to some different broadcasts and election coverage from different networks. I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe on iTunes. Follow us on Facebook. Go like the Bible Thumping Wingnut Facebook page. Go give us a like over there. We'd appreciate that. And don't forget that Bible Thumping Wingnut is not just a podcast anymore. We are a network of podcasts, including the Bible Thumping Wingnut, Slick Answers with Matt Slick on Sunday nights, right here on this Google YouTube channel. We also have Conversations from the Porch with the guys, Paul, Christopher, the rest of them. And we also have Ladies Love Theology and Semper Reformanda Radio. So look us up on iTunes. And we got a lot of stuff going on, guys. A lot of stuff happening. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. Big things happening here. We're going to be announcing them probably around, I don't know. I haven't talked to Tim, so I probably shouldn't say when we're announcing anything because I don't know. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching. God bless you all. And remember that no matter who the president is, that Christ is king and he is on his throne reigning right now. And he's coming back. So if you're not ready, get ready. Peace.